For more than 30 years, Johnny Carson shaped the rhythm of late-night television. His calm voice, familiar smile, and effortless sense of timing made The Tonight Show feel like a nightly visit with a trusted friend. Millions ended their day with him, laughing, relaxing, and watching some of the most memorable interviews in television history. Behind the desk sat a man known for patience, wit, and grace under pressure. But off camera, there was another side to the show. Johnny Carson valued respect, professionalism, and trust. When a guest delivered these things, the conversation flowed. When they did not, the atmosphere shifted. Although Carson rarely lost his composure on camera, there were moments that crossed a line, moments when the energy in the studio changed, and moments that stayed with him long after the lights went out. This documentary explores 8 guests, whose time on the show did not end the way anyone expected. Some arrived with personal tension. Some created conflict on air. Others challenged Carson directly or disrupted the show in ways he could not overlook. Their stories reveal how sensitive the balance of live television could be, and how one moment could change everything. These are not stories of anger or insult. They are moments in history shaped by personality, pressure, responsibility, and the enormous weight of public attention. Carson was a host who protected the tone and integrity of his show, and when limits were pushed, he made decisions that left a lasting mark. Tonight, we revisit those stories. The names may surprise you. The reasons may surprise you even more. Behind the laughter and applause, this is a part of The Tonight Show very few ever saw, the guests who were never invited back. Number 8. Joan Rivers. The guest who turned success into a breaking point. Joan Rivers stepped onto The Tonight Show with a voice that felt completely new. She was fast, sharp, confident, and unafraid to speak honestly about her life and her world. From the moment she sat across from Johnny Carson, audiences felt a connection unlike anything they had seen before. Carson praised her talent, encouraged her work, and gave her a platform that changed her career forever. Many viewers believed that if anyone could one day inherit The Tonight Show spotlight, it was Joan. Their chemistry appeared natural, and the friendship between them seemed built on trust. As Joan's popularity grew, offers began to appear. One in particular gave her exactly what she had worked toward for years, her own late-night show. It was a rare opportunity in Hollywood, especially for a woman at that time, and she accepted it with excitement and pride. But behind the scenes, her decision had a very different impact. To Carson, it felt personal. He believed she should have spoken with him first, and the silence between them quickly replaced the connection they once shared. When Joan's new show premiered, the separation became final. She was never invited back to The Tonight Show. There was no argument on screen, no headline announcement, only the quiet reality that a door had closed. Viewers who had once seen her as a favorite guest now noticed her absence without explanation. Joan kept moving forward, building her career with courage and determination. Her honesty and resilience helped shape modern comedy, and her influence still reaches far beyond television. In later years, Joan expressed sadness about losing that relationship. She admired Carson deeply and never denied the importance he had in her life. Their story became one of the most emotional chapters in Tonight Show history, a reminder that behind laughter, fame, and success, there are human hearts, real feelings, and choices that change lives. Joan Rivers remains an icon, remembered not only for her humor, but for her bravery, her originality, and her lasting mark on entertainment. Number 7. Wayne Newton. The guest whose calm surface hid a storm beneath. Wayne Newton arrived on The Tonight Show with the polished confidence of a seasoned performer. By the time he sat across from Johnny Carson, he was already known as one of the most recognizable entertainers in America, especially in Las Vegas. His voice, his style, and his charisma had earned him a loyal audience, and viewers expected a smooth, friendly conversation whenever he appeared on the show. But behind the scenes, Newton carried another side to his personality, one shaped by pressure, criticism, and the constant intensity of public attention. When a joke from Carson's monologue touched on Newton's reputation, everything changed. The moment began lightly, as most monologue lines do, but it landed differently with Newton. What seemed harmless on television felt personal to him. Over time, the tension grew. Newton believed he had been misrepresented, and he saw the comments as an attack on his character. The distance between guest and host quietly widened until it could no longer be ignored. Instead of letting the comments fade into history, Newton confronted the situation directly. He spoke openly about how much the remarks had affected him and made it clear that he would not accept being portrayed in a negative light. His response surprised many people, including Carson. Live television thrives on humor, acceptance, and a certain level of flexibility, but Newton's reaction revealed how fragile those moments can be. The Tonight Show was built on laughter, yet even a single line could reshape a relationship. After that, Wayne Newton did not return to the show. The break was not dramatic on camera, but it was significant behind the scenes. Carson respected his guests, and when trust faded, a separation often followed. Viewers noticed Newton's absence and wondered what had happened to the once frequent guest. Newton continued his career with determination, returning to the stage, recording music, and building a long legacy in entertainment. Looking back, his story reflects the complex balance between public image and personal feeling. Wayne Newton's appearances on The Tonight Show are remembered not for controversy, but for the powerful reminder that every guest carried real emotions beneath the spotlight. His journey shows how even in the world of bright lights and applause, a single moment can change the path between two people forever. Number 6. Charles Grodin. The guest who challenged the show by turning discomfort into comedy. Charles Grodin walked onto The Tonight Show stage with something unusual, a sense of humor that thrived on awkward silence and tightly controlled tension. Many comedians relied on big reactions or fast punchlines, but Grodin carried a completely different style. He was calm, serious, and almost intentionally uncomfortable. It created a strange chemistry between him and Johnny Carson that fascinated viewers. At first, their conversations felt amusing, even refreshing. Audiences loved that Grodin didn't try to please anyone. But the same attitude that made him interesting also pushed boundaries in ways no one fully expected. Over time, Grodin's interviews became more difficult to read. When he acted annoyed or frustrated or simply uninterested, people wondered if it was real or just part of the act. Not knowing the truth became part of the charm, but also part of the tension. Carson could handle sharp humor and bold personalities, but Grodin's approach was different. It wasn't loud. It wasn't playful. It was subtle and unsettling. Their exchanges grew more pointed, the humor drier, and the jokes more personal. Viewers laughed, but they also wondered how much patience the show could hold. Eventually, Grodin's style crossed a quiet line. His on-air persona became so unpredictable that the conversations no longer felt like friendly comedy. Instead, they resembled arguments where the humor sat beneath a surface of conflict. Carson rarely broke his calm, but Grodin's tone had a way of pushing him to the edge. What made the situation even more complex was that Grodin wasn't an aggressive presence. He didn't shout or insult or cause chaos. All he had to do was sit still, answer calmly, and question everything. For a host who relied on rhythm and flow, this was one of the most challenging dynamics he faced. Eventually, invitations stopped coming. Without any dramatic announcements, Grodin faded from the guest lineup. Carson never explained it publicly, and Grodin continued his career without addressing it directly. Their final moments together were quiet, almost ordinary, but the energy between them revealed what the audience could feel. The air had changed. The partnership, once fascinating, had reached its final chapter. Charles Grodin went on to leave a meaningful footprint in film and comedy. His dry humor influenced generations of performers, and his unique presence became a model for a very specific kind of comedy. Looking back, his story on The Tonight Show stands as a reminder that television doesn't always move on obvious lines. Not every separation happens loudly. Sometimes it comes silently, built from small moments that eventually form a wall. Grodin's time with Carson remains one of the most memorable contrasts in Tonight Show history. A story of two talents who shared the stage beautifully until the silence between them finally spoke louder than the laughs. Number 5. Shelley Winters. The guest whose energy could not be contained. Shelley Winters arrived on The Tonight Show carrying a presence that filled the room the moment she walked on stage. She was bold, emotional, expressive, and completely unafraid to speak exactly what she was thinking. For many viewers, this was the reason they loved her. She brought life, unpredictability, and humor to every appearance. But that same energy also created some of the most chaotic and tense moments Johnny Carson ever handled. What began as lively conversation often turned into interruption, debate, and emotional outbursts that left the audience laughing and Carson searching for control. Winters was a gifted actress with a remarkable career. Known for her intensity on screen and her passion off it, she didn't hide her feelings. She didn't soften her opinions. If something displeased her, she said so openly. If a topic excited her, she leaned into it with full force. On live television, that kind of honesty can be thrilling, but it can also become overwhelming. Carson, who valued timing and balance, sometimes found himself navigating a guest who seemed to take the show in her own direction. Instead of waiting to answer, she would speak over him. Instead of calm conversation, she gave emotional waves of storytelling that rolled past every cue. One moment in particular left a lasting mark. When a conversation turned personal, Winters reacted with such intensity that she shocked the audience, creating a scene people still talk about today. Some viewers loved it. Others found it uncomfortable. For Carson, it crossed a line between spontaneity and disruption. The Tonight Show was built on respect and structure, and Winters' unrestrained presence had become too unpredictable to manage. The lively spark that once energized the room began to feel like a storm he could no longer redirect. After that, the invitation stopped. Without a public explanation, Winters faded from the guest list. She continued working in Hollywood, building a career filled with awards, memorable performances, and a reputation for emotional depth. Yet her legacy on The Tonight Show remained one of intensity, conflict, and unforgettable personality. Looking back, Shelley Winters stands as a reminder that every guest brought more than talent to the stage. They brought real emotions, past experiences, and personal history. For Winters, her honesty became both her gift and her obstacle. She made audiences laugh, she surprised them, and she made them feel alive. But her time with Carson showed that even the brightest personalities can struggle within the quiet structure of television. Her story remains one of the most powerful examples of how passion, humor, and emotion can turn a simple interview into a moment that echoes long after the cameras stop rolling. Number 4. Rich Little. The guest whose talent became a turning point. Rich Little was one of the most gifted impressionists ever to appear on The Tonight Show. His skill was remarkable. He could capture voices, timing, facial expressions, and personalities with accuracy that seemed almost impossible. Audiences loved it. Each time he visited the show, viewers waited for the moment when he would transform himself through voice alone, bringing famous figures back to life right there on Carson's stage. For a long time, the energy between them worked beautifully. Carson appreciated the humor, the creativity, and the incredible talent. But as Little's fame grew, something shifted behind the scenes. His impressions began to expand beyond characters and historical personalities. He started imitating the very people who surrounded him in real life, including Carson himself. While many viewers found this hilarious, it also carried a subtle risk. For a host, seeing an imitation of your own mannerisms on your stage can be both amusing and uncomfortable. Carson had always welcomed humor, but he also valued boundaries. And the line between playful comedy and personal territory became harder to see. Over time, Little's performances leaned more heavily into imitation and less into conversation. The interviews began to feel like extended showcases, full of impressions but short on genuine interaction. Carson, who enjoyed dialogue and connection, found the dynamic shifting away from the rhythm he preferred. What once felt collaborative began to feel crowded. The spotlight was no longer shared. It belonged almost entirely to Rich Little. Eventually, a final moment arrived. After years of conversations, jokes, and laughter, the invitation stopped. There was no public disagreement, no dramatic argument, and no announcement. The show simply moved forward without him. Little continued his career, performing around the world, showcasing his unique gift, and earning admiration from audiences everywhere. But his chapter on The Tonight Show had quietly closed. Looking back, the reason was not conflict or anger. It was a change in presence and balance. Johnny Carson protected the structure of his show with great care. When the rhythm shifted too far, even unintentionally, it was enough to reshape the guest list. That is why Rich Little's story remains one of the most meaningful examples of how success can create unexpected distance. His time on the show was filled with laughter and respect. Yet the final step occurred in silence. Today, Rich Little is remembered as one of the most impressive impressionists in entertainment history, and his visits to The Tonight Show remain unforgettable. His story reveals how talent, growth, and personality can leave a lasting impact both on the stage and beyond it. Number 3. Truman Capote. The guest whose brilliance came with deep unpredictability. Truman Capote brought a rare level of literary fame to The Tonight Show, stepping into the spotlight as a celebrated author known for insight, elegance, and striking originality. His interviews were unlike those of most guests. He spoke slowly, thoughtfully, and with a voice that made every word feel intentional. Audiences admired him. His mind was sharp. His storytelling was vivid. His reputation as a writer gave him a remarkable presence on camera. For viewers at home, Capote's appearances offered something deeper than entertainment. They offered perspective, intelligence, and a look into the creative life of a world-class author. But behind the scenes, another reality began to unfold. Capote's personal life was marked by intense emotional highs and lows. The pressures of literary success, combined with elements of his private world, created moments of instability that became difficult for live television to manage. During some visits, his speech drifted, his thoughts jumped, and his tone became unpredictable. What began as brilliant conversation sometimes shifted into confusion. The audience, unsure how to react, felt the room change. Carson, with all his calm and experience, tried to guide the interviews gently, but the balance grew harder to maintain. One appearance in particular revealed how fragile the situation had become. Capote arrived with a distracted energy that immediately altered the rhythm of the show. Instead of thoughtful storytelling, he struggled to maintain direction, speaking in a way that left guests and viewers unsure how to respond. The audience watched in silence, concerned but engaged. Carson moved carefully, protecting Capote's dignity while trying to keep the interview steady. It was a delicate task that demanded patience and respect. The moment passed, but its impact did not. After that, Capote's visit slowly came to an end. There was no anger, no argument, and no public explanation. The show simply closed the chapter quietly, giving space to someone whose life had become emotionally turbulent. Capote continued to write, continued to share his vision with the world, and continued to be remembered for his remarkable influence on literature. Yet his absence from The Tonight Show remained noticeable. Looking back, Truman Capote's story is not one of conflict. It is one of humanity. His brilliance made millions admire him, and his struggles made millions care. His time with Carson reflects the delicate nature of public life and the silent battles people carry behind the camera. Capote's presence on the show was unforgettable because it was real. It showed that even someone celebrated for genius could face challenges that shaped every step forward. His legacy lives on through his work and through the memory of a voice unlike any other, a voice that left an irreplaceable mark on American culture. Number 2. Tom and Dick Smothers. The guests who pushed the boundaries beyond the stage. Tom and Dick Smothers arrived on The Tonight Show as rising stars with a refreshing sense of humor, blending clever comedy with sharp timing and musical charm. Their talent felt modern, bold, and full of energy. Audiences enjoyed the playful exchanges, and Carson welcomed their creativity. At first, Their appearances brought laughter and excitement, showing a side of entertainment that mixed music, personality, and wit. But beneath that fun exterior, a growing tension was forming. The brothers were becoming known not only for comedy, but for challenging authority, questioning tradition, and presenting ideas that sparked strong reactions. Their own television show quickly gained attention for its outspoken tone. While some viewers admired their bold approach, others found it controversial. In the world of network television, controversy brought pressure. Standards were strict, expectations were clear, and deviation from those expectations could create problems. The Smothers brothers continued pushing forward, shaping a style that demanded freedom and expression. They believed deeply in what they were doing, and they stood by it. But the growing conflict behind the scenes began to affect everything around them, including their relationship with Carson. When the controversy around their show grew more intense, their Tonight Show visits shifted in tone. What had once felt lively and light began to feel tense and uncertain. Their conversations veered toward topics that carried risk. Carson, committed to maintaining the structure and tone of his program, found himself navigating moments that stretched beyond entertainment. The Tonight Show valued humor, storytelling, and connection with the audience. When interviews drifted into areas that threatened that balance, the atmosphere changed. More importantly, Carson respected television as a shared space. He believed guests should support the tone of the show rather than reshape it. The Smothers brothers, driven by a sense of purpose and expression, pushed those limits, sometimes unintentionally. Their energy was passionate, but passion has weight. And in the delicate world of late-night television, that weight was felt as the controversy surrounding their own show reached its breaking point. The invitations to The Tonight Show quietly stopped. There was no public announcement, no dramatic ending, just silence. The separation was less about personality and more about direction. Carson's show moved forward with the balance it needed, and the brothers continued their careers independently, carrying their convictions with them, looking back. Tom Dick Smothers remain admired for their courage and originality. They stood for something bigger than entertainment, and they faced the challenges that came with it. Their time on The Tonight Show stands as a reminder that a single stage can hold many voices, but not every voice fits the same rhythm. Their story is a chapter of passion, ambition, and expression, one that reflects how the energy of a moment can shape the path of a lifetime. Number 1. Morton Downey Jr., the guest who turned intensity into disruption. Morton Downey Jr. arrived on The Tonight Show carrying a reputation that had already begun to reshape television. His style was explosive, confrontational, and built on a level of intensity rarely seen on talk shows. Instead of calm conversation, he brought heated emotion. Instead of gentle humor, he brought sharp edges and rapid-fire energy. Many viewers were fascinated by him. Others were stunned, but no one ignored him. When he sat across from Johnny Carson, the room changed instantly. His voice, his presence, and his force pushed the show far beyond its usual rhythm. Downey believed deeply in his approach. He wanted television to feel alive. He wanted audiences to react. He wanted noise, passion, and sparks. On his own program, that style made him a household name. But The Tonight Show was built on a different foundation: balance, conversation, and respect. Carson guided interviews through timing, warmth, and subtle control. When Downey appeared, that structure began to strain. Instead of adapting to the tone of the show, he intensified it. Carson tried to bring calm, but Downey pushed forward, elevating the intensity with every exchange. Viewers watching at home could feel the tension. The interview didn't unfold like a typical Tonight Show moment. There was less humor, less connection, and far more friction. The audience's reaction shifted from amusement to uncertainty. Carson, always composed, worked carefully to protect the integrity of the show, but Downey's style made that impossible. The energy in the studio felt unpredictable, and the direction of the conversation slipped further away from the traditional rhythm the show required. One appearance became enough to leave a lasting mark. After Downey's visit, the decision was made quietly. Invitations stopped. No arguments. No headlines. Just a silent conclusion. Morton Downey Jr. never returned to the stage. His career continued, shaped by the same intensity that defined him on The Tonight Show. People who admired his fearlessness followed him closely. People who preferred calmer television watched from a distance. But his legacy remained unmistakable. He pushed limits, refused softness, and brought an approach to television that was entirely his own. Looking back, Downey's story stands as a powerful reminder that not all personalities can coexist comfortably in the same space. The Tonight Show thrived on connection, while Downey thrived on confrontation. The difference was simply too wide to bridge. Morton Downey Jr. left behind a chapter that still sparks discussion, a story of talent, passion, and the challenging line between bold expression and disruption. His time with Johnny Carson may have been brief, but it remains one of the most unforgettable examples of how a single guest can reshape the atmosphere of an entire stage. Thank you for watching this look behind the scenes of The Tonight Show. These moments remind us how live television can change everything. If you enjoyed this journey, please subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support keeps these stories alive and helps bring more Hollywood history to the screen.